let's get into the sermon. So let's start there in verse number 1. It says, "Woe to them that are at ease in Zion." The title for the sermon tonight is, "Them that are at ease." Them that are at ease. What does it mean to be at ease? It means you're relaxed. You haven't got a lot on. You're not very busy. Okay, you're relaxed. You're celebrating the King's long weekend, and you're not going to work potentially. And you're taking it easy. That's where it is, all right? Easy. You're taking it easy. You're at ease. Well, God is saying, woe to them that are at ease in Zion and trust in the mountain of Samaria, which are named chief of the nations, to whom the house of Israel came. So them that are in Zion, that is representative of Jerusalem, which of course represents the southern kingdom of Judah. And it says, and trust in the mountain of Samaria. Samaria is the capital city of the northern kingdom of Israel. So God is saying, woe to them at both these nations that are taking it easy, those that are relaxed. And as we keep going, this isn't just someone celebrating a long weekend, all right? These are about the wealthy people who don't have to work a job, all right? Those that have excess and they're taking it easy. They don't have to work. They don't have to work 6 days a week. All right, they don't have to labor. They've probably got servants. They've got, all the investment, we'll look later. They've got palaces. They've got rich places to live. They've got prosperity, all right? And they don't have to work as hard as the average person. And so they can take it easy, all right? Sometimes in our Western country, we call these the socialites. They've got excessive wealth that they really have nothing to do but socialize and waste money. They don't know what to do with their lives, okay? Now, what's really strange as we keep reading is that we get to see what their lives are like. And as we will look at this, you'll start to realize that it's not all that different to your life. It's not all that different to my life. Those that are at ease. And sometimes we live in a very wealthy country. Honestly, we live in such a blessed country, and we forget just how much we've been blessed. We forget just how much we really have it easy in a place like Australia. And a lot of what you're going to read is essentially just your everyday life. Okay? So let's keep going there. Verse number 2. It says, God says, pass ye unto Calne and see. Calne, by the way, is a city in Babylon. Then it says, and from thence go ye to Hamath the Great. So it's a great city. This is in Syria. Then go down to Gath of the Philistines. You're probably more familiar with Gath. That's where a city of the Philistines. Be they better than these kingdoms, or their border greater than your border? All right, so let's learn about why is God bringing up these foreign cities? God is saying, are these cities, are these people, are these nations worse than you? Are you better than them? God is asking Israel and Judah, are you any better than these cities? Well, keep your finger there. Let's understand a little bit what more God might mean by this. Come to Isaiah chapter 10, please. Come to Isaiah chapter 10. Isaiah 10. Now, Amos, Isaiah, his ministry was after Amos's. And Amos is preaching to largely the northern kingdom of Israel, though we saw here not just Israel, but Judah as well. And of course, we've already seen that the great judgment that's going to fall upon these people is the Assyrian Empire. Okay? Now, when we read about Isaiah, the Assyrians have already basically come. Okay? Or they're in the process. Isaiah preached for many, many decades. They were in the process and they eventually overcame the northern kingdom of Israel. And then Isaiah's primarily preaching to the southern kingdom, saying, hey, get right with God. You don't want to end up like Israel, the northern kingdom did, where they were conquered by Assyria. Isaiah keeps warning the southern kingdom, if you don't change your ways, then Babylon's going to be your end. You're going to be taken over by Babylon, all right? So look at Isaiah 10. Isaiah 10. So, again, we're going into the future and understanding what God means by these cities, okay? In Isaiah 10 and verse number 5, God says, O Assyrian, okay, that's the Assyrian Empire, the king of Assyria, the rod of mine anger, the staff in their hand is mine indignation. So God is saying the Assyrians, the empire, the kingdom, is his anger. Okay, he's pouring out his anger on the northern kingdom of Israel. And he's using the Assyrian kingdom or the Assyrian army to do this. He says in verse number 6, I will send him against an hypocritical nation, and against the people of my wrath will I give him a charge to take the spoil and to take the prey and to tread them down like the mire in the streets. When people say, is Israel, the Jews, the people of God? Well, against the people of my wrath. Okay? When the Israelites or the Jewish people are not honoring God, when they're not loving God, when they don't love Jesus, when they've turned their backs against the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, yeah, they are his people. They're his people of wrath. And God is sending the Assyrians to come and conquer them. Now, if you keep going, drop down to verse number 9. In verse number 9, it says, is not Calno as Carchemish? So Calno is another way of Calne. We read Calne, which was a city in Babylon. Calno is just another pronunciation of the same city. All right, then it says, is not Hamath, remember that city in Syria, the great city Hamath is here. Is not Hamath as Arpad? Is not Samaria as Damascus? So what he's saying here is that, God is saying that like Calno and Hamath, they've been conquered by Assyria. And God is warning Judah, like, again, the same kind of idea. Are you any better than these nations? I've sent mine anger Assyria to conquer Calno, to conquer Hamath. And then here is Samaria as Damascus. And then, so even Samaria, the northern kingdom, the city, right? The city of the northern kingdom of Israel has been conquered by Assyria. So I wanted to show you this as a reference because when God brings up Calno or Calne and Hamath, he's talking about that their end will be being conquered by Assyria. All right, so when we understand that, you can come back with me to Amos chapter 6. Amos chapter 6. And look at verse number 2 again. Pass ye unto Calne and see. So, okay, you look at the city, all right. There are people that are conquered by Syria. And from thence go ye to Hamath the Great. Oh, it's a Syrian city conquered by Assyria. And then go down to Gath of the Philistines. Gath was essentially, if you could say, conquered by the southern kingdom of Judah. They were paying taxes to Judah. They were conquered by Judah in many ways. So all of these cities are under a foreign power, if you want to look at it like that, okay? Looking at these cities, they're all under foreign powers. Then he asks Israel and Judah, be they better about them? Be they better than these kingdoms? Or their border greater than your border? In other words, they couldn't stop being conquered. You're not going to stop. You think you're better than them? You're not better than them. God has allowed these cities to be taken over. And if you continue on this path, Israel and Judah, you too are going to be conquered. Okay, look at verse number 3. These that take easy. They take it easy in Zion. They're at ease. They're relaxed. Verse number 3 says, ye that put far away the evil day and cause the seed of violence to come near. These people that are relaxing, that are at ease, they're not even thinking about the coming judgment of God. They've put away from their minds that there's an evil day approaching. They're like, oh, who cares about tomorrow? I'm just going to enjoy all the pleasures of life right now. Oh, there's prophets preaching about the judgment of God. She'll be right, mate. It's all going to be good. Just like when we go soul winning and we warn people about the judgment of God, that they're on their way to hell, that they're a sinner deserving of the second death. She'll be right, mate. You see, in Australia, we are at ease. We have it very easy compared to other places in this world. And just recently, was it this Sunday, there's been marches around Australia. What's a march? What was it called? March called Marching for Australia. And look, by and large, when I saw the videos, I was really happy to see so many Australian flags and people enjoying and praising the country that they live in. And rightly so. I think they have some concerns about mass immigration. And you know, God's not against immigration. I'm so thankful for immigration. Otherwise, it wouldn't be. My parents would never have migrated to Australia. What a beautiful country. What a great country. I really appreciate immigration. But the great concern is the numbers that are being brought in, and not just the numbers, but the cultures of those that are coming into this country being contrary to the culture of the land. Now, God is all for immigration. When people wanted to move into Israel, they were to be treated as one born into the land. But the idea there is that they would make the God of Israel their God, that they would accept the culture and the traditions and the religion of Israel. So it's fine to accept people like that, but the big problem we have in Australia right now is we're bringing in people that are completely opposite to the culture of this land. So look, I'm not too concerned. I mean, I'm a sojourner. I'm just passing through. My kingdom is of above. My kingdom is heaven, right? I'm not of Jerusalem of this earth. I'm of Jerusalem above, the mother of us all, right? But I also understand that at the same time, while we live this vapor of a life, we do want to live in a country that is blessed by God. And we have been at ease many, many times. I'm so thankful that we live in a country where there are great blessings, and it's easy to forget how blessed we truly are as a people. So I don't want to end up like Israel, where they put far away the evil day. God's judgments are going to come on Australia. If I die without believing on Jesus, I'm sure it's all going to be fine. I'm living for now. We've got too many comforts. We're not concerned about judgment to come. And when I say we, of course, you and I are, because that's why we got saved. I'm talking about our larger, national people. They're far from understanding the evil day to come. Let's continue there, verse number 4. They lie, these people at ease, they lie upon beds of ivory. Ivory is where, like elephant tusks. Is it called tusks? Yeah. They get that, or teeth from large mammals. The concept is it's a high quality, rare material. Okay, and it's hard. It's a hard thing. And, it's funny about this because it says they lie upon those beds of ivory. It's like, instead of just sleeping on the floor, they've got like furniture. And like, I kind of look in my house and all my kids aren't sleeping on the floor. Right? All my kids have beds that are, okay, it's wood, but it's hard. We've got it easy. There are places on this earth that people don't have a bed. You know that? They don't have a place except to just lay on the floor. I just remember, not this year, but last year we went to Fiji. Some of the brethren went to what was that country? Another island. It wasn't Samoa. It had a funny name. Tuvalu. They went to Tuvalu. And I remember some of the stories that they would look inside people's houses and people just didn't have beds. They just lie on the floor. And just like in the middle of the day, they're just on the floor, just relaxing. It's like that. There are places on this earth that people don't have furniture. And I think most of you have a hard bed that's lifted off the floor, so you don't have to have cockroaches all over you or whatever. You probably have a very soft and comfortable mattress, to lie down on. It continues in verse number 4. And stretch themselves upon their couches. I've got a couch. These are the rich people. These are the people that are at ease. These are the people that are relaxing. My kids were on the couch just earlier today watching, was it Little House on the Prairie? My kids were literally at ease on the couch today after they finished their schoolwork. All right? At ease. Look, is there anything wrong with having a nice bed? Is there anything wrong with having a couch that you relax on? There's nothing sinful about these things in of themselves. In fact, there's nothing even sinful about being at ease at times. The problem is that when we have too many comforts, it's easy to forget the Lord. It's easy to forget the Lord that gave us these comforts. And I truly believe the Lord's given the blessings that we have in Australia, but Australians have forgotten the Lord. this mass immigration that's going on, and then regular Australians can't afford to live in a house. You know, there are families that live in tents in Brisbane. There are homeless. Like, I've never seen this in Australia. I've gone to the United States many times when I was young, and there was always homeless, but I come to Australia, I never really saw homeless people. I see homeless people now. What's going on? Are our blessings being taken away bit by bit? Is God trying to warn us that we better turn back to Him? I don't know. You can have your thoughts. These are just my thoughts. I don't know. Let's continue verse number 4. They stretch themselves upon their couches and eat the lambs out of the flock and the calves out of the midst of the stall. Look, they're eating lamb chops. They're eating veal steaks. And the fact is that they have easy access to it. They can just go to their farm and ask their servants, can you slay the calf? Can you slay the lamb? I feel like lamb chops tonight. Is there anything sinful about eating lamb and veal? No. You probably ate it today. You at ease, you Australian at ease. I mean, we could literally just go to Woolworths, Coles, Aldi, Fresh and Save. Is that what it's called, the one in Biwa? What else is there? Costco, if you want to go all the way down to North Lakes. And here's some cash, give me my veal. Give me my lamb chops. I know it's a bit pricey, but we can afford it. Some of you guys buy coffees every day. $5, $6 here and there. Hard for me to process that information a little bit with a big family. And you, bro, you're the one roasting those coffee beans. We have luxuries is what I'm trying to say, don't we? Imagine telling I don't know. There are places in the world, you're telling we literally buy coffees. We spend $5, $6 on a coffee every day. Some people drink 3 or 4 cups of coffee a day and they spend that much money. Man, that must be a very luxurious lifestyle, right? My point is, brethren, this is Australia. What we're in about is just Australia. Just everyday Australians. On Australia Day, aren't we encouraged to eat our lamb? Okay. Look at verse number 5. That chant to the sound of the viol. The chant is like singing, repetition. Chanting is like that idea of repetition. It's like people are listening to their popular songs. They know the words. Everyone knows the words of their popular songs. Okay, but they actually need musicians to come and play the violin. Now, I remember there was a time, look, we got radio stations. I don't even know who listens to radio these days, but you could tune into the radio. I remember there was a time, I wasn't really into music, but my brother was. And I remember my brother would have a tape recorder. He'd be listening on the radio station, waiting for the song he wanted to listen to. He got his tape ready and just waiting, for hours. When's my song coming on that I like? And then the radio station plays the song. All right, record. And then he had a little tape, a mix of his favorite tunes or whatever. All the effort just to get his tunes. I mean, these guys, if they wanted to hear their favorite song, they need to, hey, violinist, hey, musician, can you come and play at my house? We can literally turn a switch. You can jump in my van and press a button and you'll have FM radio. Just like that, boom. We are at ease. And today you go to YouTube, you don't even have to wait for your favorite song. Just type in and there it is. You want to hear something from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, 2000s, and whatever else? It takes literally seconds. And you got the tunes playing. And you see people driving their car and they're chanting, they're singing their songs. Woo, woo. They're partying it up, woo, driving their car, singing along. Anything sinful about singing a song, though? Now, you might question some of the music that you're being played. But I'm saying, in general, listening to a song and singing along, there's nothing sinful in of it. But I want you to understand, these are, in God's point of view, this is a rich and easy life. And we have it better than Israel did back in the day. I mean, any song you want now, just go to YouTube and whatever it is, there it is. Spotify, I don't know them all. Like, access to anything we want. Verse number 5 continues, and invent to themselves instruments of music, like David. You know, I like that God put like David, because obviously David was a man after God's own heart. David was a musician. David wrote many of the Psalms, and he sang songs to the Lord, and Solomon had the ability also. That's why we had the Song of Solomon. And so God is saying, look, it's not that listening to music and singing along is sinful. It's not that learning to play an instrument is a sinful, like David, but obviously David did not forget the Lord. These people have taken their beds of ease and they've forgotten the Lord. That's the problem. It's not that they're eating steak and lamb chops. It's not that they're listening to music and resting on the couch. That's not the sin of itself, but all the pleasures, all the ease, all the comforts, all the luxuries have caused them to forget the Lord. The idea of playing instruments, we call that an art, right? If you paint, we call that art. These are hobbies, these are arts. People normally do hobbies and arts when they're at ease, when they've got time. There's a reason my wife and I can't do the arts. There's a reason why we can't do our hobbies, barely. Because we've got a busy life, right? You've got a busy life. Even if you're a mother with young children, even looking at this, what did it say? They stretch themselves upon their couches. You're probably like, I didn't even get a chance to do that these days, right? When you got little kids running around, mothers are like, I didn't have time to even rest. Now, before you had kids, you rested. Obviously, once the kids get out of the house and grow up, you'll be resting, don't worry. You have all your comforts, I think, potentially. I don't know what the future holds. But, you know, if things continue as they are, you should have your comforts back once, you know, your busy lifestyle is over. But look what we're reading about, brethren. Isn't this just everyday Australian life? Things that you do, and you've even got it better than the Israelites of old here. Look at verse number 6. Verse number 6 says, that drink wine in bowls and anoint themselves with chief ointments, but they are not grieved for the affliction of Joseph. So to drink wine, and look, I'm not sure if this means alcoholic or not, but the concept is they drink it in bowls, meaning they've got a lot of juice. And back in these days, fruit juice was an expensive item. You needed servants to come and squeeze those, you know, like Pharaoh's cup. He had a guy who was a cupbearer, and he squeezed those grapes into Pharaoh's cup. But they've got excess. Again, you know, as much as I do, you just go to Woolworths or go wherever, and you can buy your 2-liter, 3-liter fruit juice quite easily. You know, if look, we're going to have the Lord's table. I'm going to order some awesome grape juice from Adelaide, a vineyard down in Adelaide. Man, we're gonna be enjoying that wine shortly, okay? As we remember the blood of Christ. We have such easy access to all these things. So in bowls is the idea like a large quantity rather than just a cup. They've got access to everything. Chief ointments. I don't know, cosmetics, perfumes. Are cosmetics and perfumes in of themselves sinful? Sometimes people think they are. It's just a luxury item. All these things are luxury items that are being enjoyed by the wealthiest and richest of Israelites. And you and I do it all the time, and we still complain. Isn't that strange? We've got it better than the richest Israelites. You go home and flick a switch and you've got lights. You don't even have to light a candle. Flick the switch, you got lights. You get a bit hot, you turn on the aircon or the fan. I remember the day my parents got their first air conditioner. And it was those bulky in-window ones where you cut the window out and this brown machine made a sound like... And I remember when they installed it, I was like, yeah, woo! We don't have to sweat during summer. And these days, just every house has an air conditioner. Like, who cares? Christina was telling me when the family bought a house in Concord in Sydney, that there was no toilet inside the house. And look, we're not that old. If you had to go to the toilet, you have to go outside right at the back in a little brick shack and do your business there. And then if you're in the middle of the night and you're sleeping, you need to go to the toilet. You know, it's a bit scary to go out at night and you might have to hold it in until the morning and suffer. But even that is a luxury and we got it better. I was talking to Christina, you know, a lot of houses have like a bedroom with a toilet inside of the bedroom. We call it the ensuite. It's like, what? Like, even a bedroom has a toilet? We have so much going for us. Like, we live, Sunshine Coast people, I'm telling you now, you live in the most beautiful place. Pretty much, in my opinion, my very humble opinion. We live in the most beautiful place on the planet, the Sunshine Coast. What do we have to complain? And look, I know the cost of living crisis. I know, man. I've got 12 kids, 11 kids. I get it, I know, but even then, we have so much. So what are we going to do about it? Complain to God? Be like the Israelites of old? Forget the Lord? I'm not going to complain. I've been so blessed. We are wealthy people, but we are excessively wealthy. We can afford to have pets. Not just feed the kids, but we can throw a bone at the dog or something. I mean, I don't know why I've got so many animals in my house. We've got frogs and blue tongues and dog and 2 rainbow lorikeets now. There's probably other little creatures somewhere that I haven't heard about yet. Potentially, I don't know. We're like a mini zoo inside the house. We're so blessed. It's not that any of these things of ease are a problem. You need to understand, it's that you need to remember your heart and the heart of man is when things are so easy that we can forget the Lord. Or if something doesn't go our way, we have some little problem in compared to eternity, and we start to whine and complain to God. God, you're not coming through. Why, God? Why me? It's like you live in the most beautiful place on the planet. What do we have to complain about? I don't know about you, brethren, but I'm just going to learn how to be content with what God's given us. He's given us so much. So much. You wake up, brother, every morning to that beautiful ocean. How beautiful. You know, I can walk outside and see those rolling green hills of Mullaney. And if you're honest, a short walk, a short trip will get you somewhere beautiful, anywhere you live. I'm getting a bit sidetracked. Let's keep going. Let's go back to verse number 7, please. Therefore, now shall they go captive with the first that go captive, and the banquet of them that stretch themselves shall be removed. God says the very first that are going to be taken away into captivity by the Assyrians are these people at ease. I mean, it makes sense. You got a foreign army coming in. They're conquering cities. They're conquering towns. What are going to be the first of the spoils they take? They're not going to go to the poorest of them. They're going to walk into the palaces. They're going to walk into the rich man's houses and take their goods and take their people. God says you're going to be the first. They're going to be taken away. in my anger. Verse number 8. The Lord God hath sworn by himself, saith the Lord, the God of hosts, I abhor the excellency of Jacob and hate his palaces. Therefore will I deliver up the city with all that is therein. When God looks at these people at ease, he calls it the excellency of Jacob. God says where they live are palaces. And he says, I hate it. I abhor it. Is there anything wrong with the house, the palace? Is there anything wrong with the excellency of the place that they live in? No, again, no. It's the people's hearts. They're worshiping false gods. They're not listening to the rebuke and the judgment that's coming from the prophets. They corrupt people. They're taking advantage of the poor and the needy. They corrupt judgment. God says, I abhor, I hate his palaces. And let me say this. I'm going to say, I mean this. I don't care where you live, brethren. Say, Pastor, my house, my apartment, whatever it is tiny. You live in a palace. I'm saying compared to this world, the world standards, you live in a palace. Honestly, the average Australian house is a palace. We compare, oh, my house is not as big as the neighbors. Oh, I don't have double story like the neighbors. Oh, I don't have the double garage like the neighbors. I hope no one's doing that. But that's how Australians talk. How much wealth do you have in your investments? Oh, I've only got this much. What is your net worth? Oh, mine's this. Oh, man. I'm not keeping up with the average Australian. You live in a palace. I always say this because it's true. When I go to Chile, South America, and by the way, Chile is not a poor country. Chile is one of the few South American, I think one of two, South American, or three, South American countries that are on the, they're a member of the OECD. You know what that is? Like 38 countries that are the wealthiest. With lifespan, with education, like livability. It's nice to live there. People are doing well in life. Chile is in that list. All right? It's one of the good countries. People go and start businesses and invest. You can live a decent life in a place like Chile. And when I go to Chile and I look at the average house, I'm telling you, your Australian 2-bedroom apartment is bigger than most people's houses. I'm talking about middle class, upper middle class. Of course, you always have your extreme wealthiest. I'm not including those people. You know, whenever I think, because we've got a big family, my house is small, and I go and visit my family in Chile, and I come back to my house in Australia, I'm like, where did this palace come from? Oh, and there's air conditioning. And I flick the switch and there's light comes on. And I've got internet connected. I've got literally all the knowledge of the world, all the topics that I can search for at my fingertips. Man, I remember my dad buying our first home computer, home PC. Now, Matt, you're about my age. Michael, Chris, hopefully you know about this. But I remember the very day my dad walked into a store with me and my brother, and this was kind of ahead to most people owning their own personal computer in their house. And he bought us a Commodore Amiga 500. Does anyone know what that is? Commodore Amiga 500. No internet, by the way. No internet. You have to put in floppy disks to get anything going on. Right? I mean, I'm trying to remember, like, probably like video games or whatever. I don't know. I can't remember exactly what it was. But today, most of my kids are walking around one of these or something like this. We've got like 6 PCs in the house because they're all gamers. No, homeschooling. Hopefully. Like the luxuries. The luxuries. We have so much. Even your crappy car, if you drive like you say, Pastor, I got the crappiest of the crappiest car. You know, I mean, it gets me to point A to B, but it gets you there faster than any of Solomon's chariots ever would. And it's got some high-tech computer system behind it anyway. I mean, we have such advancements and such palaces and the best of the best chariots that get you, it takes me 1 hour to drive. It's so far away. When in the Bible, people would walk to one place to another. It takes them days to get there. And we still complain. We got to learn from the lessons here. Okay, it's not like the Israelites is like some excessively wicked people. They're flesh and blood like you and me. They're normal human beings like you and me. We can forget the Lord. Australians have forgotten the Lord. If Australians love the Lord and fear the Lord, we wouldn't have enough room in this church to have people here. The fact that we have empty seats, people don't fear the Lord. They're at ease. They're taking it easy. They don't care about the Lord. They don't care about the evil day to come. They're not appreciating the blessings. They're not content with what God has given them. They're looking at their neighbors and going, I want to compete with that. Good to feel a bit of pinch from the over-migration. I'm against it, by the way. I'm just like, good. Feel a little bit of pain, a little bit, that we might be losing some of our comforts. Good. If it wakes you up, who gave you these comforts to begin with? The white man. It was God. God used the white man. It was God all along. I don't know what I'm up to. Verse number 9. Let me speed up. And it shall come to pass, if there remain 10 men in one house, that they shall die. And a man's uncle shall take him up, and he that burneth him, to bring out the bones out of the house, and shall say unto him that is by the sides of the house, Is there yet any with thee? And he shall say, No. Then shall he say, Hold thy tongue, for we may not make mention of the name of the Lord. For behold, the Lord commandeth, and he will smite the great house with breaches, and the little house with clefts. Talking about the Assyrians coming through. You might say, well, we're okay, we've got 10 men in our house. We'll be able to fight off these bad guys. Nope, they're going to be wiped out, all 10 of them. The husband with his 9 sons, you're all going to die. And the bodies are just going to lay there when Assyria comes through, that the uncle walks, some extended family has to come, take the bodies. He can't even bury them. He's got to burn them, just light the house on fire because of the rot in flesh and the sicknesses that might come from that. He can't even bury the bodies, just puts it on fire. Now, I thought a lot about verse number 10 at the end of it. Is there yet any with thee? He shall say, no. We're like, yeah, no one survived. There's no one here. Like, they're all dead. Then shall we say, hold thy tongue, for we may not make mention of the name of the Lord. Think about that a lot. Like, what does that mean? Why can't you mention the name of the Lord? Because normally, if you're like me and something bad happens, I run to the Lord, get a hold of him. Lord, what's going on? Not complaining, just, Lord, can you give me some answers? So, but here's what I remembered, though. Job had 10 sons. Was it 10 sons I started with? And what was that, sorry? Sons and daughters. And he lost them all, right? We know the story of Job. He lost it all. He lost his possessions. He had the sickness in his flesh. And what was the natural reaction of his wife? Curse God and die. Sometimes when people lose their luxuries, and Job was a very, very wealthy man. Okay, he had the ease, but he loved the Lord. He had good integrity. The Lord spoke highly of him. But sometimes when you lose the people that you love, especially the people that you love, human nature can cause you to curse the Lord. And I think that's what's happening here. Like, oh, did they all die? Yeah, no one's... Okay, hold your tongue. Don't make mention of the name of the Lord. For behold, the Lord commandeth that he will smite the great house of the rich houses with breaches, and the little house, the poor people, the poor houses with clefts. He's like, don't speak against the Lord. Don't curse him. Don't blaspheme. Because God's smiting us. It's going to be worse. He's already angry at us. Don't make it worse. That's what I think is going on here. Sometimes these trials and problems, they're supposed to bring back that fear of the Lord. I hope that happens to you when something doesn't go according to plan. When you're going through trials and hardships and you lose possessions or you lose loved ones. I get a fear of God. I say, God, what are you doing? What's going on? I'm not gonna blaspheme the Lord. I can't even speak bad of my Lord. I can say, Lord, I don't understand. Lord, help me. Where are you, Lord? I feel like you've left me. I might go that far, but to hate my Lord or to curse my Lord, I just can't even do it. I'll tell you why, because I look back at my life and the Lord has blessed me. I'm so blessed. I live a life of ease. People say, Pastor, you're so busy. Man, we live in Australia. In fact, serving in the ministry is like fun. It's the best job I've ever had. I was talking to Brother Michael on Sunday. We're talking about, are we happy in life? Are we content with where we're at? Because we should be content, right? You know, are we pleased with where we find ourselves, our family and our situation and things of life? And I told Brother Michael, man, if you went back and told 20-year-old Kevin, when you are 44 years old, you take a very foolish and immature 20-year-old Kevin. When you're 44, you're going to marry this girl that you're dating. You're going to have 12 kids. You're going to be pastoring 3 churches. You're going to live on the Sunshine Coast, the most beautiful place. And your eldest daughter is going to find a young man that loves her, bring him to church, and he gets saved, and they're going to get married. And they're going to love each other. And he's going to give you a house in Sydney and a house on the Sunshine Coast. I'll be like, what are you talking about? You're going to send people to the Philippines and Fiji to win souls? To Melbourne, to Western Australia? You're going to be invited to preach in churches overseas, churches, conferences, and the like. Like, what are you on? What are you talking about? I'm so blessed. So blessed. Like, how can I whine and complain when things don't go well? I mean, compared to the blessings, wow. What in the world, Lord? Oh, you must be at ease, Pastor Kevin. You're a landlord. It allows me to minister, be a pastor. think it's a love of money or some garbage like that. I love the Lord. He's the one that's blessed me. And life is not always easy. I know that. It's trials and difficulties and hardships, but compared to other people and other places, World War I, World War II, like, man, we got it so easy. You're going to be able to travel every single week on a plane down to Sydney and bless that church. And as a side bonus, you're going to be able to see your aging parents every single week. It's like, what blessings are this? What, did I win the lottery or something? Like, what is going on? Did some wealthy benefactor just look kindly upon me and just dump billions of dollars on my lap? Is that what happened? Asked some foolish 20-year-old. It's the blessings of the Lord. And brethren, if you look at your life, you were blessed. I'm telling you, you are so blessed. Please don't forget the Lord. Don't forget the Lord. Can you turn with me to, have I finished that passage? No, I haven't. Okay, verse number 12, please. Amos chapter 6, verse number 12. Shall horses run upon the rock? When you think of horses and like horse racing, do horses run on concrete? No, because they'll slip and break their legs. They run on dirt. They run on grass, right? Will one plow there with oxen? Do you take your oxen and plow on rock? No, they plow on the soil, right? For ye have turned judgment into gall. That's bitterness. You turn judgment into bitterness. And the fruit of righteousness into hemlock. I had to look up what hemlock was. It's a poisonous plant. You've taken the things that are good and you've made them bitter. You've taken what is righteous and you turned it into poison. Ye which rejoice in a thing of naught, which say, look at this, look at their attitude. Have we not taken to us horns by our own strength? Horns is like authority, power. They're like, are we not doing well? Are we not people in authority? Do we not have these riches and these blessings because of our own strength? Boasting, prideful, arrogant people. By the way, whatever God gives you, and if God gives you houses and lands and bondservants and maidservants and gold and silver, you better not turn around and say, look what I've done by my own strength. You better bow your head and say, thank you, Lord. It's because of you that I can take it easy from time to time. It's because of you that I don't have to work 6 days a week. We can get through 5 days a week. And some of you guys even work less than that to make your ends meet. Thank you, Lord, that I live on the Sunshine Coast. What a beautiful place. Lord, it's all of you. Everything, my children, the churches, the ministry. It's because of you, Lord. Otherwise, God will hate your palace. God will abhor your excellency. And he might all take it all away from you. You might all disappear and go. So I'm not going to tempt God with this. Best thing to do, whatever he gives you, whatever your paycheck is, even if you get your paycheck and you go, man, it's not too much. No, Lord, thank you, Lord, you gave this to me. And I highly recommend take your 10% and give it to the house of the Lord. Pay your tithe. Showing Lord that you appreciate what he gives you. Lord, you gave me 90%, I'm giving you back your 10%. I don't say that because I'm a pastor. I've proven God blesses you mightily when you do that. Verse number 14. But behold, I will raise up against you a nation, O house of Israel, saith the Lord, the God of hosts, and they shall afflict you from the entering in of Hamath unto the river of the wilderness. That nation, of course, is Assyria. God is essentially saying, all of your land will be conquered. You're going to be completely overrun because of your arrogant, prideful, easy living, forget the Lord, worship false gods, bring corruption onto your land, never be thankful, never acknowledge God. I'm taking it all away, and you're going to be conquered by another nation. Maybe this mass immigration we're being conquered. I don't know. I hope it comes to a stop, but boy, we better learn to appreciate what God has given us in Australia. Can you turn to one last passage, and thank you for your patience. Proverbs chapter 30. Proverbs chapter 30. Proverbs chapter 30. While you turn to Proverbs 30, I'm going to read to you from Hebrews 13:5. Let your conversation be without covetousness, and be content with such things as ye have. For he hath said, I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. So that we may boldly say, the Lord is my helper, and I will not fear what man shall do unto me. Why should we not be covetous? Why should we be content, happy, satisfied with what God has given us, whatever it is in your life? That we can boldly say, the Lord is my helper. The Lord is the one who's blessed me. The Lord is the one that's made me productive and given me all these things that I get to enjoy. The music, the couch, the bed, the grape juice, Woolworths and Coles and New Life Baptist Church. Lord, you gave it to me. You're my helper. I better learn to be content with what you've given me, because I live and you live better than the richest people in Israel lived. Look at Proverbs 30. Let's end on this one. Verse number 7. Proverbs 30 and verse number 7. 2 things have I required of thee. Deny me them not before I die. Remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me, lest I be full and deny thee, and say, who is the Lord? Or lest I be poor and steal and take the name of my God in vain. It's a good request from whoever wrote this. Was it maybe Solomon? He says, look, Lord, just give me sufficient, what is convenient for me. Lord, you know what is best for me. Give me, Lord, before I die, I want to be able to live a life that is relatively comfortable. That I'm not excessive in riches, where I forget you, Lord. Who is the Lord? Well, Lord. No, my own strength. I did it myself. And neither poverty, where you have to steal and take the name of God in vain. Sounds a lot like the chapter we just read. Don't use the Lord's name. Don't speak his name. Don't take his name in vain. You know, this is a good prayer to have, a good request to God. God, look, he's already given us more than what is convenient. God has blessed us. Brethren, our cup is running over. Just open your eyes. Stop losing the contentment. You have so much going for you here in Australia, here on the Sunshine Coast, here at New Life Baptist Church. Let's always thank the Lord God. Let's not forget his name. I don't want to be like the Israel of old. All right, the title for the sermon tonight was Them That Are at Ease. Let's pray.